Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with some more Pathfinder adventure card game, playing my 6-player dream team here. We struggled, we fought, we valiantly got lucky enough to make it through the prologue without any failures. Now it's going to be hopefully not as hard. We got a skill feat, so everybody's got a +1 to their combat. And the first scenario in Adventure 1 isn't too bad. So during the scenario, if you defeat a goblin, there's a 1 in 6 chance of taking 1 fire damage, not the end of the world. And you get a skill feat for beating the scenario, so that's like 2 skill feats in a row. At that point, your heroes get pretty strong. That's kind of the point where the heroes actually start to become a little bit stronger than the game. I feel like Rise of the Runelords has a bit of a U-shaped difficulty curve where it starts out pretty tough, then it gets easier, and then after your characters can't put skill feats into their combat stat anymore, the game gets harder again. Anyway, I'm not going to do the preview of the villain. Suffice to say, the villain's pretty normal. He just has 2 combat checks, so he introduces the player to the mechanic of monsters with multiple combat checks. And the henchmen are just goblin raiders. Alright, so we got some old locations, we got some new ones. We got the Swallowtail Festival, which is an interesting location. Its closing requirement is to defeat or acquire the next card. I highly recommend having somebody here, because then if anybody else finds the villain, this person can attempt to close the location and essentially get a free exploration, which is nice. So we'll put Linny here. This doesn't have too many monsters, and it's got a lot of stuff for her to pick up. There's 2 blessings and 2 allies, so she's got some pretty good chances of getting extra explorations. The Sandpoint Cathedral is really annoying. You have to banish a blessing to close this. I'm just going to put Sela here. I want to just take care of it. We have seen it in an earlier scenario. If you just let that one linger too long, things get really irritating. There's not too many spells to be had. I guess there's 2 spells at the town square, but there's also 2 spells with the old light, so I'm going to send Ezrin here. He does have a lot of combat spells. He's got 4 plus a weapon, so he doesn't mind there being 4 monsters here so much. The spells might be nice, and he's good at the closing check. He's the best. Is he? Well, not really. Linny is technically the best, because she's rolling a d10 plus a d4 plus 3, which is really better than a d12 plus 3. Just because it has a higher chance of success. But Ezrin obviously doesn't mind the monsters as much as Linny does. We'll put Mariziel on the wooden bridge because it's got the stealth check to close. And that leaves Harsk and Amiri. Send Amiri to the city gate. It's got some weapons there. She likes those. And the Rusty Dragon's an interesting place. You don't really want to send Harsk here because the requirement is charisma and diplomacy. And there's 3 allies here, which could be good for extra explorations. Harsk's charisma is a d4, so the allies are kind of wasted on him. So I'm going to go ahead and just send him to the town square. Any cards that he doesn't shoot arrows with, he can discard to explore. And then you just have to remember to keep a card in your hand at all times so that you can banish a card to actually close the location. Okay, so that's it for the starting strategy. Let's go. Oh god, I should have put Amiri next to Sela. Whoops. I always am supposed to put Amiri next to Sela in case Amiri gets an extra weapon and she gets none. That was my bad. Let's see, did Sela get... She did not get a weapon. Amiri didn't get any extra weapons, though, so we'll just let Sela tough it out on her own for a while. Alright, City Gate, what you got in store for me? A Pit of Malfeshenkor, or of Malfeshnikor. This is a pretty weird barrier. Basically, you draw 3 items, and then if you pick one, you take a shit ton of damage. Or you can just ignore them and the barrier goes away. So I just prefer to ignore it most of the time. The main exception is, of course, if you have an armor in hand, you can use the armor to absorb the damage and get a free item, but most items suck, so it's just pretty kind of a stupid barrier. Dagger +1. Mariziel and Ezrin each would not mind having this, but I don't think it's worth spending a blessing on. I mean, we do have a blessing of Callistria here, +2 dice to a non-combat dexterity check. Nah. I'll save the blessings. It's a good weapon, but it'll get outclassed eventually, and it's not that much different from a regular dagger, and I just don't want to risk losing the scenario. Okay, so we got this going on. I don't really want to play a blessing, so I think this is the time, perhaps, to shoot an arrow. I need to roll a 7 on those 3 dice. That should be fine. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Hilarious. Oh, and if you fail a combat check, a random monster is shuffled into the location. Wow, that's great. Should have played a blessing. Fuck me sideways. God damn it. Oh, well, that was a bad start. Really screwed that up, I guess. Well, you know what? That shows why you need to play Blessings. This is actually a pretty good ally, Shalelu. She adds some scouting, so I'm going to go ahead and just pick her up here. It sucks that I lost my great sword, but we'll pick her up. She's really good. So the way she works, now that we picked her up, we can actually do this. You reveal her to examine the top card of your deck, and then you get to make a choice. You can either discard her to encounter the card or recharge her to not encounter the card. Here, since we're seeing a blessing, I'll just go ahead and encounter it. That's fine. And we'll pick it up here. Remember, you have to keep a blessing on hand in order to be able to close the location. So that's just something to keep in mind. Goblin Warrior. Alright, well, I don't have a weapon. So, gonna have to improvise a little bit here. Let's do this. And 5 on those 3 dice, no, 6 on those 3 dice should be fine. Yeah, wow. So made a 9 on the nose. So here I have a 1 in 6 chance of taking a fire damage. Luckily it does not come to pass. And I should be able to get a blessing back in my hand. Hello? Wow. That's a... Oh, hang on. Well, I think it's a bug. I defeated a monster. I should be able to add a blessing to my discard pile. Or do I not have any? Oh, I don't have any blessings in there. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so I guess we're gonna just keep on trucking then. Blessing of Iomade. Oh, lost my cure. That's not good. I mean, what was I expecting? That was clearly gonna happen eventually. Blessing of Torag, I don't value that highly, so we'll just keep on trucking here. Put a card on top of your deck. I guess we'll do the armor on top. Do a Blessing of Torag, fire an arrow, and that should do it. Yeah, that should be enough. Jeez, dice are rolling kind of cold today. Anyway, I lost my cure, which is a bit of a problem. Because that's really, I don't have any other way to heal myself. So Sela is, oh god, I forgot to get a blessing back in my hand. That time it was letting me. Oh no, I just totally forgot to get a blessing back. Whoops. Alright, we luck out a little bit here at least. So this is nice. The henchman was on top, second from the top. We actually essentially get a free exploration by moving it to the top as opposed to second from the top. And I think I will go ahead now. It was probably a good time to fight that henchman simply because I have a sage in hand to help me close the location. Should I get a card? Invisibility. Well, don't really need it, but let's take it anyway. Why not? There's always a chance it's something like Charm Person. And then, oh geez, yeah, I'll recharge the Thieves' Tools. It's a little risky, but I'd rather... Clearly I didn't need it, but you know, since the dice have been a little bit unkind to me, I figured I'd play it safe that time. Oh man, I still can't believe Amiri failed that check. That was just so ridiculous. So it's like losing 2 turns because the monster, instead of dying, goes back into the location, and an extra monster now is in the location. It was just a disaster. Alright, we got pretty good odds. The only way I can fail this is to roll Snake Eyes. It's 12 times 6, so like a 1 in 72 chance of failing. Pretty solid there. So Amiri lost a bunch of time, but Ezrin closed his location on the first turn, and Sela's not doing so hot. She burned a bunch of cards, but maybe Linny can go cure her at some point. Okay, so meanwhile the rogue is over here. Okay, I have a weapon in hand, so I don't need this Amulet of Mighty Fist anymore. Do I recharge it or discard it? I think we'll discard it just to be safe. Didn't make a difference, of course. Every time I play it safe, it doesn't make a difference. Potion of Healing, you know, maybe this is the scenario to use it. I should use that on Sela. Okay, this is a weird thing. You can shuffle any number of cards into your deck and then draw 1 less than what you got. So I am actually going to do this. What I'm basically going to do is just shuffle in everything except for my animal. And I'm hoping to pick up an Inflict so that I can kill things, and I can. In fact, I'm going to go over here. Yeah, I'm going to go join Sela, and I'm just going to cure her now. There's a chance I'm going to be able to cure her cure. I don't know what the odds of that are. They're probably not that great, but let's try it. Minimum healing, of course. Story of my life. Alright, so we heal her for the minimum amount, recharge our cure, and it's a Goblin Raider. Alright, well, could have been worse, for sure. Do I need to fire? Ah, shoot, I'm out of arrows. I'm out of arrows! No! Okay. I need to roll a 7 on those 3 dice. 5, it doesn't quite meet the 2 test, because if they all roll 2s, I fail. But 5.5 plus 3.5 is 9, and plus 2.5 is 11.5. Yeah, it's not quite 5. I cannot play Pharasma, my blessing, because then I can't close the location. I could just have Harsk wander into his location without anything. Let's just do that. I'm going to save my blessing and just hope Harsk doesn't find any monsters on his first outing. All right, that D4 made the difference. Holy shit, this game. I was going to roll an 8 without Harsk's arrow. So, yeah. That is kind of nuts. So it's a good thing I did that, I guess. Please don't roll a 1. Okay, good. Now I need to banish a Blessing of Pharasma, which unfortunately is a pretty good blessing, but that's fine. So in the first round, we closed 2 locations, which is like a lot for just one turn for everybody through the game. So the fact that Seal is a bit damaged is kind of compensated. All right, we got an Enchanter. Can I kill her somehow? We got a Strength. I'm going to go for it. This is the right time because the Enchanter sucks. You lose 2 cards. So the fact that Harsk's hand is empty is actually good. Like if he'd had that bow in his hand, he would have actually discarded it. So now's the time to strike. Can anyone else help with something? Oh, he also has Strength. Okay, so Linny and Ezrin both had Strength. So that's actually still not enough, really, because he still has to roll a 3 to kill her. We're gonna go ahead and pop this bitch. We're gonna pop her. Pop her like it's hot. Let's go ahead and play a blessing. The top blessing is a Lemashtu, so you can bury it for 2 dice to a combat check, and I will do that. Why not? This actually guarantees the check. Probably shouldn't have played both strengths in that case, but whatever. We got to kill her. That's the important thing. Let's scout it up. Detect magic. Okay, so this is actually a good time for Ezrin to come over. This is one of the reasons, by the way, why I love Harsk. He just has these little, like, qualitative benefits. Like, if it was any other character, they would have just, like, you know, wandered into the detect magic on their next turn and just, you know, been like, whatever. But because it's Harsk and he sees it, now you can do different things. You can say, like, okay, well, Ezrin's going to come over there. He's going to pick up Detect Magic and get an extra exploration, and, you know, that helps the team. It helps the team. All right, meanwhile, Amiri now has 3 monsters here that she has to kill instead of the usual 2, but there's one of the 3. Maybe that's the extra one I just got. Oh, please don't make me take damage. Yeah, I'm finding a lot of goblins that aren't even the henchmen, and I do take damage. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the longsword. I've got a lot of weapons in my deck. I'd rather keep the blessing, and I'm actually going to play the blessing now and just discard. Hopefully it's not a monster. Hey, it's a tiger. This is a really good ally. Unfortunately, I don't think I can really afford to spend blessings on him, except it's Blessing of Callistria, which is currently up. You can see the Blessing of Callistria up here. So these are actually just recharges. Do I play them both? I'd have to roll a 5 here. Yeah, let's play them both. Why not? I mean, it's recharging. I'm not losing anything permanently. So let's get this tiger. It's a good ally. Now I have a 3 in 7 chance of finding a monster if I do this. So let's not do that. And we'll just pass the turn. I got a weapon. Good. Okay, Sela doesn't have any weapons. So going to the Desecrated Vault is just kind of asking for trouble. Let's go to the Rusty Dragon instead. She'll go to the Desecrated Vault later, but not when she has no weapons in hand. Let's go to a place that doesn't have as many monsters in it. Hey! Oh, yeah, that's great. Well, let's recharge a dagger for sure. And let's pop a card. Wait. Is her cure... She actually did heal her cure, so there's a 1 in 10 chance that I am losing my cure from doing this. F it. Alright, lost a sage. Not the greatest, but whatever. Finally, I roll some good dice. I've got armor, so I don't even care if I take fire damage here. Charisma or Diplomacy 6. Not the greatest. I guess we'll just throw another card over. There's the cure again. I don't know why I do that. I mean, I know it's going to happen, right? Right? I mean, am I right? Okay. So, yeah, that's not quite safe. Just those 2 dice. We'll just play another blessing here, because she plays blessings. There's no tomorrow, and okay, that was actually pretty cool. Been pretty lucky. There were like 3 locations where the henchman was one of like the top 2 cards, so you really can't complain too much. Let's get my scouting card back. I should have really recharged one of my magic armors. That was a mistake that I kept them both in my hand. Honestly, even like recharging them both wouldn't have been a bad move. Anyway, we're gonna go here. Detect magic is an auto pickup, which means it's an extra exploration. Thank you, Ezrin. You exuberant old giddy. Battle axe, good weapon. Actually, what am I? This isn't a good weapon. It's a D6. Oh, that's terrible. I don't care a shit about this. So what I'm gonna do next is we'll play detect magic. There's a chance that if the spell is next, or the weapon is magical, or I find a magic item, I can explore again. Although, you know what? F it. I'm just going to discard this stupid detect magic and just explore. I don't really care that much about scouting. Okay, I have a 1 in 3 chance of picking these up. It'd be good to pick them up because they're magic. I'd get an extra explore, but I don't think it's worth spending a blessing. Because again, someone could just play that blessing and explore on their turn. I will use the spyglass. I think the scouting information is worth it. Okay, this is actually a little bit distressing. I don't really have the ability to kill that locker. The guard is crap, although you can just discard him to explore again. I'm not that great at picking up guards, though, so we'll just leave it at this with Ezrin for now, and then let somebody else who's better at it do it. Okay, so Sela could use some healing. Well, we'll let Sela come to the rogue instead of vice versa. Because if Mariziel spends her turn coming up to Sela, then Mariziel can't use her hero power during the fight. Whereas if Sela comes to the rogue, then Mariziel can move away on her turn. Okay, so next, Linny, I think this is a good time to go here. She can use Augury on the location that has 4 monsters in it, and she's also good at closing this location, because she has a good divine check, D10 plus 2 plus a D4. So we get rid of one of the monsters, which is good. Of course, if I find another monster now, I'm a little bit boned. But let's see, what are my odds? There's 9 cards, of which 4 are monsters. Yeah, let's go for it. Hey, blessing a Shellin. That's a good blessing. Wisdom is a good skill. I think other than your combat skills, wisdom is pretty much the best skill in the game. Do I explore with this? I think that's a bit foolish. I'd be pressing my luck. Alright, so what's Harsk got? A guard? Harsk is good at fortitude, so I guess we'll pick up the guard. The question is, does he really want to find this trapped locker? Trapped locker, what is this? And defeated, discard the top D4 cards of your deck. You know what? F it. I'm just going to go in there. I don't really care about it. I don't care about getting the random armor. Harsk hasn't lost a single card yet, so I don't even care if he loses 1d4 minus 1 cards on the top of his deck. That might not even be that big of a deal. At most, it's 3. It's not the end of the world if that's what happens. Okay, so he loses a card. And the barrier is banished, so that's good in my book. Do I play a blessing to explore? I'll play one, but not the other, because otherwise I'm going to have to end up banishing my weapon to close this. Cannot pick up a soldier, unfortunately, so away we go. Goodbye, soldier. Let's see, is the henchman here? Hill Giant? Oh, Lord. Oh, we got some tough monsters here, that's for damn sure. Amiri, do you want to fight a Hill Giant? Alright, why don't you go fight a Hill Giant? I think somebody wants to fight a... Why is everybody over there? But yeah, she's pretty much the best person in my party to take care of this Hill Giant, so let's just do it. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll recharge this tiger. Gonna bury this troubadour. That's a bit of a loose roll, but we'll do it. Okay, I guess that was actually fine. Well, rolling a 10 and a 12 helps, I suppose. So if I play the blessing to explore, then I'm going to have to banish a Warhammer in order to close the location, which I don't care about that much. It's not that much worse than a longsword. But then if somebody found a crappy weapon, she'll be stuck with it. Yeah, we'll leave it. I don't think it's desperate enough yet to warrant that. And I'm going to move back at the end of my turn here to be ready to attempt close it if necessary. Okay, Sela. Why don't you go here? Wait a minute. That would be a much better place for Linny to go, because she's better at picking things up. I'm going to have Sela go to the vault, because Sela's better at fighting stuff. And Linny didn't get a weapon in her hand. What do we got here? Oh, okay, the Attic Whisperers at the bottom. Goblin Raider, hey, look at that. Alright, well this should be pretty good. So let's recharge the Potion of Glibness. Don't think we'll be using that. And Sela's kind of in an awkward spot here. Does she want to use a blessing here? No, I think what she'll do is, since she already lost her cure spell, let's just keep throwing cards away, because why not? And now, the current blessing is the Blessing of Aurori. It's right here. So she'll be able to play that to help herself make the Wisdom or Divine 6 check. Okay, so let's see. If I play this, I need to roll a 4 on those two. I can't afford to lose that check, so we're just going to do that. As you notice, I use her ability pretty aggressively. I feel like that's fine to do, because eventually you're just going to be left with all of your blessings in there, and you'll get it for a free d6 pretty much every time. And at the end of the day, honestly, it doesn't really matter that much if you lose your other cards. As long as you have a weapon, does it really matter if you lose your cure, or if you lose another weapon or an ally? Like, it's not the end of the world. So that's why I like to use her ability pretty aggressively. Okay, so where is Ezra going to go? He could go to the wooden bridge, because he has invisibility, and he can close the wooden bridge with that. But where's Maurizio going to go? We're starting to get a little crowded here. The rogue needs to have somewhere to go, and the wooden bridge is really the place for her. So I guess I'm just going to go here. I've got 2 combat spells. I can kill a henchman and then close the location with another fight, so that's fine. Okay, we'll just roll it. I have a 50-50 shot at picking it up. I should have used the Sage. It was a Luckstone. The Luckstone, by the way, is a totally shitty item, but it's magic, so I would have gotten an extra exploration. Alright, unfortunately, didn't really do too much there. Should have recharged my Sage in the end. Oh, I forgot to have Sela come over for her healing. Whoops. Well, we'll just keep on exploring the wooden bridge, I guess. Crap. So I have to roll a 5. It's not guaranteed by any means. Does anybody have a Blessing of Aristul? Because Aristul is the one that is recharging here. Shoot. This would be so bad if I rolled a 4 or below, because I would take damage when I don't have any armor, and I would miss out on an extra exploration. Okay, I guess we'll just have one blessing get played. Now for 2d12 to hit a 5 is good. And of course they both got a 5 or higher, so that was a waste. Not a waste, it was still good to play, I think. Alright, well, I'm not going to get this guide, unfortunately. I don't have my Crown of Charisma. So, that's that. Okay, Linny goes to her Swallowtail Festival. At this point, the main way I could lose is if I simply just... Like, if the villain is just, like, at the bottom of, you know, one of these decks, like the last place I look, then I'll end up losing this scenario rather tragically. But now that I have everybody kind of in place, I guess I don't really need both crows. Now that I have everybody in place, I should have a decent shot here. Alright, so let's banish that. I couldn't use my Caltrops. Caltrops might still come in handy for killing a Goblin Raider. The problem is, though, that everyone's now going to go into this location, so I might as well just use the Caltrops. Let's get rid of a dagger. This is actually still kind of a loose roll, unfortunately. I'm going to play another blessing, because there's definitely a chance I was going to fail that. Yeah, it was actually like really close. Without the blessing, I would have tied exactly. Yeah, there's my Inflict. Alright, so does Harsh want to do this? He'll banish a Blessing of the Gods if he has to. Sure. Unfortunately, this henchman is annoying. He's harder to kill if you're using an attack spell or a ranged weapon, which I am. So this is going to be a bit of a tight call. I can't play a blessing, because if I play a blessing, then I don't have a way of closing the location unless I banish my heavy crossbow, which seems kind of pointless. So let's have Linny play one of her blessings here. This should be good to hit an 8. It's a little dicey, but those are big dice. I should be okay. Alright, so then I'll banish Blessing of the Gods, because I don't want to lose the crossbow. And Blessing of the Gods is more useful now than a heavy crossbow, but the heavy crossbow is elite, it's not basic. So I can't necessarily get it back. Alrighty. Can I get a weapon? Uh-oh. No weapons. Whoops. Alright. It's a little scary here. Got my Glaive. Finally. Ooh, hang on a second. I can recharge the Torag, but I don't need to... Yeah, I'll just explore with the Torag, not use it on this combat check. So there's the mercenary that I failed to kill earlier. Alright, I can recharge a blessing to explore. Quick check. Is everything blocked? Can I temp close my way to victory? I can. Okay, so we'll just keep on going. The old potion of energy resistance. I hate that thing. I always find a bajillion of these. Pretty crappy. But, okay. So we just need to find the villain. We got to explore as much as possible and try to find the villain. Unfortunately, most of my characters have, burned through their blessings by this point. If the villain is in this wooden bridge, I'm really going to be in trouble because Mauricio's not exploring very much. So somebody's going to have to join her because if the villain's in there, I don't want to just like auto lose. There's 9 cards at the festival. Man, I mean, I'm just really, damn. I'm in rough shape because if the villain is in that bridge, it's just going to take a long time for me to get there. Okay, there's the villain. So I lucked out that the villain was here and not elsewhere. Of course, I still have to kill him, and I still have to close the locations. I'm really low on blessings, actually, so I might have a tough time with that. We're going to have to do a little bit of taking stock with our blessing situation. Let's get Mauricio taken care of first. So, she doesn't have any blessings. The only people with blessings are Linny, who has 1, and Harsk, who has 2. Alright, well, I have to play a blessing on this. I can't afford to risk rolling a 2 and just not closing, so that happens. Thankfully, for this place, we've got a pretty good shot at killing the bandit. What's happening? Oh, God damn it. Hang on. I need to pick what card I'm recharging. Right, so first I recharge that, then I fling an acid arrow at him. And now to make sure that this goes through, let's recharge my armor. Okay, so this should be good, I hope. Yeah. Okay. So we recharge the acid arrow. And now we have to think very carefully about how we're going to take out this villain. Let's see if I can get a useful card, maybe? No. I was hoping maybe for something like a strength to help Sela with, but no. Alright, so now we have this villain with 2 checks. So a combat 9 and a combat 10. So first you do the 9, then you do the 10. And there's also this text that if you fail a stealth check, the second check is harder by 2. So it's basically a villain 9-12, unless you're, the rogue. Now what's cool about villains with multiple checks is that you can actually pass off one of the checks to an ally at your location if you wish to. I don't know that it's necessarily worth it to give Linny one of these checks, because, I mean, she's got an inflict, but I don't think that's actually better than what Sela can do. So, for the low check, let's discard a mace. Let's pop a card over there. And really rolling a 6 on those 4 dice is pretty assured, so we'll save our... Well, I'll still shoot an arrow, because these tools aren't good for anything else, but I'm going to save both blessings for the other check. Alright, so the Warhammer gets discarded. Yeah, even in Combat 12, it's not hard enough that this is really a problem. I probably should have actually spent another blessing on one of the checks somewhere. Yeah, that was pretty overkill. Alright, so there we go. Now I have to confess, I really lucked out there. If that had been a henchman, not a villain, so I would have closed the location on that turn, but then I still would have needed to find the other villain, and I only had 10 turns left. It was going to be tight. It was going to be tight. But now we get another skill feat, which again, I'm not going to spend any time thinking about. Sela, I guess you could give her wisdom if you wanted, but really, she makes combat checks way more often than she makes, checks to recharge her spells. So it's really just pretty simple. Give everybody their combat 4 times, and then you can take it from there. It's just not a bad way to go. Okay, Tiger is really great. Do you give it to Linny? The thing is, yeah, it's an animal, but on the other hand, is she ever really going to use it for its ability? Probably not. So, I'm going to give it to someone who actually might, benefit from the extra damage, and I think that person is Harsk. So, instead of this crow, which he never uses, let's give him this tiger, which might actually help him. She needs an item. He needs to drop a spell. Goodbye, Detect Magic. She needs to drop an... Oh, hey, Shalelu. All right. Let's give this to our rogue, I think. Oh, the rogue has both special allies? I think it's good for her to keep a troubadour on hand. Maybe I don't need 3 sages. Maybe we can give Ezrin that. Yeah, it seems solid. A couple of extra blessings here. Does she have any duplicates? Nope, she does not, so we'll just get rid of regular old blessings of the gods. Harsk needs one. And Linny's actually an item short, but we didn't pick up any items in that scenario, so that's actually cool. That means that She now gets to pick a basic item of her choice from the box. There's no thieves' tools in here. Interesting. Guess we'll just take the caltrops back. Hasn't failed me yet. All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching that. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe, and I'll see you again soon for the next episode of Burnt Offerings. Take care, everybody.